Miss Bonnie Crombie.
Thank you, James. Sure, keep me between our guests and the food. Xin chào quý vị. Welcome to City Hall. Welcome to the Great Hall. Chúc mừng năm mới. Welcome and happy New Year. I just want to go over our counselors who are with us here again because we have a few people join us. Abbott, thank you for joining us today despite the weather. My goodness, look at the turnout despite the weather. So we do have one of our newest counselors, Stephen Dasco from Ward 1 is with us. Please say hello. Chris Fonseca from Ward 3, just give a wave, make sure they know you're here. John Kovac from Ward 4, say hello, they're your friends. Ron Starr, big supporter, Ward 6. Ron always comes out. And Matt Mahoney from Ward 8, please come and say hello. So always a pleasure to join you. I don't know how many events we have done together, but I see the turnout from so many groups and organizations that came to be with us today. Of course, always the Canadian Vietnamese Network and Voice Canada seem to be many of the organizers of our events, and yet again today for the Tet Lunar New Year. I also would like to recognize the involvement of the Mississauga Vietnamese Community Center, the Phat Van Temple, of course, the Tu Tam Foundation, Ontario's Vietnamese Veterans Association, and North York Vietnamese community coming out on this inclement weather from North York and the snowstorm in City. Thank you very much. Look at how many came out to join us in beautiful Mississauga today. We really appreciate you being here, all to celebrate the Tet New Year. So, as many of you do know how vibrant, dynamic, diverse city we are, one of the most inclusive in the entire country and maybe even in the world. And people live here in peace and in harmony. And we like to say that we don't build walls here. We build longer tables. Make sure everyone is included. And people reside from 200 different countries. They speak 150 languages. And let me say how proud Mississauga is to be the first 2 years ago to raise the freedom flag. Even before we did it at Queen's Park, and then again last year in April in the pouring rain, right? Let's hope this year the weather is a little bit nicer for us. It's because our city's Vietnamese community has built a reputation for just being so hardworking business people, but yet you are compassionate citizens. As Julia has told you, the amount of dedication to the citywide food drive, the Mayor's One Bag Challenge, really drove its success. We could not have achieved our goals without the contribution of the Vietnamese community. And it's Julia and James and your team that pushed you so hard to drop off, whether at the temple or at the food bank. And I know we had the big weighing in and also an outstanding support, 24,650 pounds of food. That is higher than last year, higher than the year before. And it is because of your generosity and your compassion that we not only met our goals, but actually we exceeded our goals this year. We thought we'd tally up the amount of money and the food that we've accumulated for the food bank over the 4 years of the One Bag Challenge. And boy, were we surprised when we set a very high target this year, because we couldn't do it during Thanksgiving, it was during the election time, so we thought, well, we'll do it over the Christmas holiday season, and we needed to raise $600,000 and 400,000 pounds of food, and I thought, oh, this is not going to be achievable. You know what? Probably we won't reach our goal until 2019, but you know what? Because of the generosity of Mississaugans, particularly groups like the Vietnamese community, you really stepped up, and we exceeded our goal, and we reached more than $1 million and 1 million pounds of food. And for that, I am truly thankful, truly grateful to the Vietnamese community as well. And I see your generosity day in and day out, not only during the food drives, but also in your support of Syrian refugees. I know you can relate to newcomers and to refugees. Many of you were boat people yourselves. And you sponsored families coming from Syria and those from Thailand and around the world. You have helped other people come to this country, become integrated just like you did, and call our great city, Mississauga, their home as well. And that's just one of the reasons why we wanted to assist you to fulfill your dream of having your very own park, a place where people of Vietnamese background, culture, history, tradition, language could come, could gather, could celebrate together in your own new home in Saigon Park, right? It's so important for the next generation of Vietnamese and the non-Vietnamese speaking Mississaugas to understand your culture, understand the hardship, the ordeal, what you went through, the freedom path that you took to come, and the values that you hold, freedom, democracy, and harmony. And this park will be a place to honor and to welcome the community, bring messages of peace, and honor your values throughout Mississauga. And you will love it. There will be a big water feature, an outlook, picnic benches, covers, tables. It will be a beautiful place that I know we will all go many, many times and enjoy, but also we will cutting the ribbon. Do we know yet when? Spring, summer, early summer, spring-ish? 2019, yes? 2019. We will have Saigon Park open in 2019. There you go. Sooner the better. And I look forward to seeing you all there. And also there is another initiative as well. I would be remiss not to mention there is another group that are building a Vietnamese boat people memorial, and they're finding a home for their monument. And the monument, of course, will pay tribute to Vietnamese Canadians and act as a reminder to the greater community about the trials, the tribulations that the Vietnamese refugees went through to escape oppression and communism and ultimately win their freedom right here in Canada. And then finally, if I may, I'm a little bit overwhelmed at the tribute. My deepest thanks, my sincere appreciation for naming the Canadian Vietnamese Networks, naming their scholarship, launching the Bonnie Crombie Scholarship. I'm so honored. I look forward to awarding it to a very deserving student who has demonstrated excellence, not only in their academics, but also shares your values of giving back to the community, so for their community work as well. So we have so much to look forward to in 2019. I'm very grateful, as are my counselors who are here today to celebrate with you. We want to thank the Vietnamese community for helping to build Mississauga into the world-class city that we are. And as we usher in the new year, we do have an opportunity to start fresh, to reassess our priorities, to chart the next course for the next 365 days, because that's what the new year's about. Taking stock of last year, what were our accomplishments, what didn't go so well, what were the challenges, and set our goals and our priorities for the new year. What is it we'd like to accomplish? You know, maybe we want to build the back deck. Maybe we want to put some money in the bank. And I know I'd like to put some money in the bank in the city here too. I'm looking at my counselors. There's lots to build. And then of course it marks the year of the pig. And we heard Julia tell us about all the qualities of people who were born in the year of the pig. I am a rat. I don't know who else is. Who was a pig? A few is a pig. One, two, couple, 3, 4, 5. A few people are pigs. I'm a rat. Any more rats? Yeah, a few rats too. So my daughter's a rat. My mother's a rat. My grandmother's a rat. We have lots of rats in the women in our family. I don't know what it means, but it means something. So I also wanted to share one more thing with you. 2 more. We can light fireworks in Mississauga. You need a permit. Please get your permit if you're going to light fireworks. And secondly, tonight, in your honor, we will illuminate the clock tower, yellow and gold, for you for the 10th year. Thank you to Quang Lâm. Thank you very much for joining us.